Average at Best Cornhole here. DFB Cornhole, or Dumpster Fire Baggers Cornhole, is an ACO bag company. I have a couple series here that have a hybrid material from them, the Debacle, and their newest approved series, the Toxic Waste. Now I'm going to get into a lot more detail, but these bags are very similar to each other, and I'm going to try to explain, a few subtle differences between them. But I primarily think the difference of which bag you should choose is going to come down to, which hybrid material you like the most, whether it be hand feel or how it plays. Now that's not a knock on either one of these series. Like, they were both really good bags. I just didn't know that they were this similar to each other when I purchased them. The biggest difference between these two series is the materials. The Debacle here, this has the popular R hybrid material on the slow side, and the fast side is the Viper Pro Sniper fast side. Toxic Waste, on the other hand, the hybrid material on it is the other common one. This is the one you'd find on the Guardian, the Dart, or the Wolverine. And then the fast side, this is that Game Changer Wizard Surefire fast side. So it's actually the same fast side material, just different sides to that. DFB lists the speeds for the Debacle at a 6 on the slow side and a 9 on the fast side, and then the Toxic Waste as a 5 on the slow side and a 9 on the fast side. I'm not mad at that. I do see a lot of other companies say this R hybrid, it plays like a 6. I think it does play a little bit slower, and I definitely agree that the Guardian slow side hybrid material here does play slower than that. If I had to say numbers, I'd probably say 5 1/4 for the slow side on the Toxic Waste and 5 1/2 for the slow side on the Debacle. Both bags do have a standard or a medium template to them, and they have a medium amount of fullness. They actually weigh exactly the same across, all 8 bags for these two sets. Both series do have a mix fill, and it is awesome. There's some flats and rounds in there, and whatever mixture he decided to use really makes these bags extremely drippy. Now, I have seen on Facebook where DFB has commented he does use the same fill in all his series, so that's why I know that both these bags do have the same fill. I do like to comment on bagmanship for, these smaller companies, and DFB definitely, they know what they're doing with their bagmanship. I inspected the bags pretty good, and I saw no loose strands. Everything's sewed tight. I haven't had any seams starting to come out, and I'm super impressed with those smaller companies and the care that they take into making their bags. I'm going to get into the slide up, and like I was saying, these bags are super similar, so I'm going to try to spot out a few differences. But if you have the same template and you have the same amount of fill and you do have the same fill, I mean, the primary difference is going to be, the slow side and the fast side. So the Toxic Waste is going to be a little bit more of a controllable bag than what the Debacle is, and that's on the slow side and the fast side. Just want to ask, if you're enjoying the page, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. It's really going to help me out. The highlight for both of these series is how dang drippy they are. They are loose enough to accidentally grab the hole, but they're not too loose that you don't get a good grip and you're not able to lock those beads down, when you get ready to make your throw. But because they are a little bit loose, it's going to affect, how aggressive you can be with your blocks, because I don't think they're the greatest at collecting, and you really can't be aggressive and put your block on your opponent's side expecting to come and grab a corner and pull that bag in. With that said, though, I think both of these bags are really good at running holes, and I don't think you're going to be initiating a lot of blocks. And if you do put up a blocker, it might be an accidental block, or it might be a little slight miss, and then your collect's going to be more straight on in that case. These bags are slightly more of an active bag than they are a forgiving one. I don't want to mislead anyone and say that they are like a super forgiving bag, because they do have that mixed fill, and because of that they can kick a little bit on you. But they are a hybrid material, and they are loose enough that you are going to get some forgiveness, and you are going to get that forgiveness around the hole also. Because of the looseness, they could potentially accidentally grab the hole. The Toxic Waste potentially could kick a little bit more on you than what the Debacle could, because of that, a little bit slower of a slow side it has to it. But that also means that it is going to be a little bit more of a control bag or an active bag. And like stated earlier, the whole bodiness of these bags is definitely one of their highlights. The Debacle, it is a little bit faster, and I think that that really helps with the whole bodiness. You have that extra speed that if you do catch the hole, it can swing all the way around and fall in. And also just with it resting there, a little nudge, it takes a little bit less to get this bag moving again. They both do have that mixed fill, and that's what adds to the drippiness. Those beads don't want to settle, and there is a little bit more looseness in the bag, so then the pellets can shift some. Toxic waste, it can hang up a little bit easier than what the Debacle can, and that's just because it is a little bit slower. I don't think it's really going to be an issue. I noticed when I was throwing them side by side, like switching back and forth, I tended to hang the toxic waste up on the hole just a little bit more than I did with the Debacle, but that was probably because I was used to throwing the speeds of the Debacle as well. I'm pretty sure the only issue I've seen with collecting is if you're trying to collect corner to corner, it could sometimes bunch up on you and miss that collect. Now, the good thing is that these bags are a little active, so therefore you can do that cut collect. Just make sure you put an aggressive cut on there because you want to square up to the bag when you're going to make that collect so you don't have to worry about that corner to corner action. Also a plus to them, a lot of times with mixed fill and round beads, I do see bounce offs while you're trying to collect. I did not really notice that with these ones, and I think the added looseness there stop that bounce off and you still were able to collect. There's also subtle differences in the playability with them, and I think fourth and foremost that they're both going to be hole running bags, but they are active enough that there's probably a lot of people out there that can really make all the shots with these bags. I just don't think that they're bags that you would purchase to learn how to make those shots, whether it be cuts or rolls. I'm confident they can do it, but I think that they're probably way better at just running holes because of that whole bodiness and because of that drippiness. And I think that they'll be better suited to, beating blockers. So you maybe might not necessarily want to play like a dirty style game, like a true dirty style game with them, where like you're initiating the blocks to, mess with your opponent. I think that they're both better at beating the blocks, whether it be slight cuts or you roll over them or you use that looseness to your advantage and you let them bunch up a little bit, to avoid the mess on the board and squeeze through some areas. That's really where they're going to shine. If there is any bit of a difference in the playability, it would be that the toxic waste is, slightly more of a control bag with the slow side and the slower fast side. You're going to have a little bit more control to it. So those cuts and rolls, might be a little bit easier for inexperienced players. And the other great thing about the fast side not being as fast as the 9 fast side on the Debacle is that when you do flip it over, a lot of times people flip bags over for a collect or a strong push shot, and they want to throw really hard even though they don't have to. The fast side on the toxic waste isn't going to punish you as much as the fast side on the Debacle. If you do flip it over and forget that you don't have to throw it that much harder and you accidentally do, the chances of this scooting off the back or bouncing off of something is less than what the Debacle would be. You can find DFB Cornhole at dfbcornhole.com. He has a Facebook page, which is at DFB Cornhole. Now, I do believe from browsing the website and reading the Facebook page, I think it started from a cornhole club, so that's kind of neat. If you do go to the website, both series are available. I do believe that there might be made to order, but I'm not sure. And I know he does have customs available, so obviously those are going to be made to order. So I got the Debacle with the, just a real subtle custom with my logo up in the top corner. And that's what he said he strives for. He likes, like that modern, clean look with the designs. But there's multiple colorways available for those designs. Also, these bags are priced right. The standard price is just $65 for a set. And if you do want to upgrade to a custom, it's only $10 more at $75. I'm going to end this the same way I started it. And these bags are both very similar to each other, but that's not a bad thing. But if you look at it, they share common materials. and they have the same fill and they have the same amount of fill. So I think it's going to go to personal touch and, you know, which one of these hybrid materials you like the most, which would help you make your decision on which one you get. I think these are an advanced bag because of that fill, but I also do believe that they are going to be great bags for beginners or new throwers because of that whole bodiness. A lot of people should be used to mixed fills, so I don't think you're really going to have to worry about that kick too much, especially if you got a flat bag or you're learning out and you're working on your flat bag. You're going to be able to play the kick that you get, but the benefit of the whole bodiness of both these series is, you know, to me, that outweighs the possibility of getting a kick to the bag. And I just want to end this with, you're going to be average at something, be average at cornhole.